Hey YouTube, welcome back to Axis and Allies, the Garrison. This is Detroit coming to you from the bunker here in Rochelle Park, New Jersey with one more episode of the YouTube Wars. It is Japan's turn. It is episode 7.3 and I, Detroit, am the Commander-in-Chief of the Imperial Japanese Armies. And in all fairness, okay, even though I am the commander of the Japanese forces in the Pacific, I have to give credit where credit is due. I need to thank my allies, Hilltop Pillbox, okay, and Dutch Lancaster, who have been great counselors, okay. They've assisted me greatly during this great campaign. So it's only fair that I mention to you guys and give you thanks, thumbs up for helping me out as much as you already have. Guys, so it is episode 7.3. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic turn as far as I'm concerned for Japan. Reason being, Japan is very, very active in this turn. Japan will be declaring a total of 11 battles. I don't think I have ever declared that many battles on a single turn for any power that I've controlled or played with in the past. It's going to be very interesting. I guarantee you that there are going to be certain surprises that will make some of you just scratch your head. Okay, guys, as I like to say, enjoy this episode. I also like to say, please let me know what your ideas are and thoughts are regarding the strategies and tactics that I'm currently using involving this particular turn. Enjoy. All right, YouTube, it is episode 7.3. It is finally Imperial Japan's turn to make its moves in this round. Okay, we're deep into round 7. We're finally fast approaching the end of this conflict. We are now in round 7. There's a lot going on here in this turn for Japan. Japan will be declaring a total of 11 battles that I will quickly review for you guys. Okay, but before we do so, let's review the purchases that Japan made. Now, Japan purchased with its 41 IPCs 2 fighter squadrons, 1 naval transport, 1 destroyer, and turn. Then let's go ahead with the combat movements. Japan declared a total of 11 battles for this turn. So let's go ahead with the combat movements. Japan will be attacking the British in Iraq, who are defending with 2 tactical bombers, 1 fighter, 1 armored division, and 1 infantry and artillery divisions, a total of 6 units that are defending. The Japanese will be attacking with 8 aircraft at a movement of 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's going to be a total of 4 tactical bombers attacking the British, as well as 4 fighters. So that's 4 tacticals and 4 fighters that will be attacking the British in Iraq. All right, a total of 8 aircraft. All right, the second battle will be this battle for Yunnan, where you have 1 Japanese armored division at a movement of 1, and 2 will be moving into Yunnan unopposed. That's the second battle. The third battle will be the battle for Season 36, where you'll have the Japanese fleet coming from Season 35, consisting of 1 battleship and 1 cruiser. At a movement of 1, will be moving into Season 36. The Japanese submarine from Season 6 will make power at a movement of 1, 2, and 3. Will link up with the Japanese fleet in Season 36. The attack, though, is not yet done. This attack will be supported by 1 tactical bomber coming from Calcutta at a movement of 1, 2, 3, and 4. This tactical bomber will have 1 movement left in its fuel gauge. By the way, all of the aircraft that attacked Iraq will also have 1 movement left in their fuel gauges. So let's go back to Season 36. The attack is not yet complete. In this instance, you'll have 1 fighter coming from the Philippines at a movement of 1, 2. This aircraft will have 3 movements left in its fuel gauge. There is an additional fighter and tactical bomber coming from 1 of the carriers at a movement of 2. Actually, at a movement of 1. Yeah, movement of 1. These aircraft will have 4 movements left in their fuel gauges. All right, there we go. So in total, you'll have 2 tactical bombers, 2 fighters, 1 battleship, 1 cruiser, and 1 submarine attacking the U.S. fleet in sea zone off the coast of Hainan. And this sea zone, I'm forgetting, is sea zone number 36. All right, that'll be defending 2 U.S. fighters, 1 carrier, and a Anzac naval transport, as well as a U.S. submarine. All right. The third battle will be the battle for Sea Zone 43. In this instance, you'll have a Japanese submarine coming from Sea Zone 35 that'll be attacking the defending Anzac cruiser and naval transport. That attack will be supported by a tactical and a fighter squadron. All right, the attack for Sea Zone number 44. This instance, you'll have 2 submarines and 1 fighter coming from the Philippines at a movement of 1 and 2. This squadron will have 3 movements left in its fuel gauge. There is an air base in the Philippines which allows that aircraft an additional movement, and they'll be attacking the Anzac fleet consisting of a destroyer and naval transport. Okay, and of course, let's not forget that the attacking tactical and fighter squadrons coming from one of the carriers in Sea Zone 35 that are moving into the attack on Sea Zone 43 with the submarine will also have 4 movements left in their fuel gauges as well. All right, so here we go. All right. That's the Japanese naval transport, all right, and fleet coming from Sea Zone 35 will pick up 1 artillery, 1 infantry at a movement of 1 and 2, and will land on the Caroline Islands. Okay, so this landing goes unopposed, and the Caroline Islands will be reverting back to Japanese control. And of course, last but not least, once the Sea Zone 36 has been cleared, the naval transport in Sea Zone 35, the last naval transport, Japanese, will pick up 1 artillery and 1 infantry and will perform an amphibious landing onto French Indochina. So let's put these units here, and let's move that transport, indicating that the attack is taking place once Sea Zone 36 is cleared. All right, let's go with the next battle, the battle for Sea Zone 26, where you have 2 defending U.S. naval transports. All right, in this instance, you'll have 1 Japanese fighter coming at a movement of 1, 2, 3, and 4. That attack will be against the 2 naval transports according to the BBR. Let's not forget that the BBR allows, okay, for when at any time when you have 2 paired naval transports, that set of naval transports do get a die roll, a defense value of 1 or less. All right, so this fighter will have 1 movement left in its fuel gauge. Okay, and the battle for Sea Zone number 25. Okay, in this instance, you'll have the Japanese fleet in Sea Zone 6 moving in at a movement of 1 and 2. All right, we'll be engaging the 2 U.S. naval destroyers in Sea Zone 25. Okay, once this sea zone is cleared, all right, let me put that destroyer is going to be left here. 1 of the Japanese naval transports in Sea Zone 6 will pick up an artillery and an infantry at a movement of 1, 2, 1, and 2, and will then perform an amphibious operation that will be, if successful, if the battle in Sea Zone 25 is successful, then the amphibious operation will take place and that landing will be unopposed. And last but not least, the remaining Japanese naval transport in Sea Zone 6 will pick up 1 Japanese infantry, will make sail, pick up the Japanese infantry in Iwo Jima, come back, and will perform a naval landing that will go unopposed, and Korea will revert back as well to Japan. All right, these are all the attacks for the Japanese. All right, so, oh, by the way, guys, I was forgetting to make one more attack movement. I was forgetting that the Japanese fighter in Calcutta, okay, will be attacking, will be performing an attack as well, and we'll link up with, yes, we'll link up with the Japanese forces attacking French Indochina at a movement of 1, 2, and 3. So going into French Indochina, you'll have one Japanese fighter, artillery, and infantry division attacking French Indochina. All right, so let's go ahead with the results of the combats. Combats have already been resolved. The battle for Iraq was very successful for the Japanese. The entirety of the defending British forces were destroyed. All 3 aircraft, armor, infantry, and artillery divisions were destroyed. Okay, the Japanese in turn lost 1, 2, and 3 tactical bombers during the attack. All right, so very successful battle for the Japanese in Iraq. Okay, so the second battle was the battle for Yunnan. This battle was went unopposed, where you had the Japanese Armored Division moving into Yunnan. All right, let's review the battle for Season 43. In this instance, the attacking Japanese submarine and tactical and fighter squadrons were successful. The Anzac cruiser and naval transport were sunk on the return fire. The Anzacs were unable to inflict any casualties on the Japanese forces that attacked. All right, battle for Season 44. Similar result. The defending Anzac fleet of destroyer and naval transport were sunk to the bottom of the sea as well. The Japanese did not sustain any casualties during the Anzac return fire. All right, battle for Season 36. Okay, important battle because the Japanese need to clear Season 36 before they can perform the amphibious landing in French Indochina. All right, the U.S. Chose, all right, to submerge their submarine. Unfortunately, the Japanese did not attack with any naval destroyers, hence giving the U.S. the option of submerging its submarine. So G.I. Joe decided to submerge his sub. Okay. Upon the attack commencing, the U.S. fleet was sunk. So was the Anzac naval transport. The U.S. also lost both of its naval fighters. Okay, the Japanese in return, during the U.S. return of fire, lost 1 tactical bomber and 1 cruiser. And the Japanese battleship was damaged as well. So it was a very successful battle for the U.S., considering that it really didn't have that many naval assets in Season 36. All right, so successful battle for, I would say, for the U.S., being that it did inflict damage on the Japanese fleet. All right, so now that Season 36 was cleared, the naval amphibious operation had the green light to go ahead. The naval transport, okay, went ahead, unloaded its cargo of 1 infantry, 1 artillery, and its fighter from Calcutta. All right, this attack was an interesting attack. Okay, the Japanese were destroyed. Okay, they were defeated, but on their return fire, the Japanese lost 1 infantry and a fighter as well. Okay, that's how this battle went. The Japanese did retake French Indochina. All right. Next battle. Battle for Season 33. In this instance, it's not for Season 33, it's actually for the Caroline Islands. Then this battle, in this instance, the Caroline Islands amphibious operation went unopposed. So the Caroline Islands are currently under the control of the Japanese once again. Battle for Season 26. The Japanese fighter attacked the 2 U.S. naval transports and was successful. Unfortunately for the Japanese, On the return fire, the Japanese fighter was shot down. Check it out. Check it out. All right. Battle for Season 25. In this attack, the U.S. fleet consisting of 2 destroyers was sunk. On the return fire, the Japanese did not sustain any damage whatsoever, okay, or any casualties. All right, so this gave the green light for the amphibious landing operation in Midway to go ahead. The Japanese were able to unload their 2 divisions consisting of 1 artillery and 1 infantry divisions onto Midway. Okay, and last but not least, the battle for Korea. This battle, of course, was unopposed. The naval amphibious landings took place, and as I said before, unopposed, was just a mere occupation there of Korea that took place. All right, so let's go ahead then with the non-combat movements. All right, the Japanese will move 4 infantry divisions into neighboring Burma. Okay, an additional 2 infantry will be railed into Shan State. Here you go. All right, those are the 2 movements there. The 3 ground infantry divisions in Kwangtung will move into Kwangsi. All right, let's land all these aircraft to perform the attacks in Seasons 36, 43, and 44. The 3 aircraft that attacked Season 36 will move back in. Will go back to their respective carriers. The tactical bomber and fighter squadrons have 4 movements left in the fuel gauges at a movement of 1, 2, and 3. All right, we're going to be landing these aircraft on the carriers. All right, this fighter that also participated in the attack came from the Philippines. This aircraft will have 3 movements left: 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you haven't guessed it by now, the Japanese, for the weapons technology, developed super carriers, and super carriers allow aircraft carriers to be able to carry at least 3 aircraft, all right, and can also sustain 3 points worth or 3 hits worth of damage points. All right, so that's the technology that the Japanese developed for themselves. All right, the 2 aircraft in Seasons 43, these aircraft also have 4 movements left in their fuel gauges, and they'll be moving back into the Philippines at a movement, actually Season 35, a movement of 2, 3, and 4. We'll be landing these aircraft on one of the Japanese carriers as well. Okay, here we go. Let's move these battle stands. Okay. The other, or the last but not least, the fighter that performed the attack on Season 44 will have 3 movements left in its fuel gauge. It'll move back to Season 35 at 1, 34 at 2, and 33 at 3. Okay. All right. Let me see. Am I forgetting any non-combat movements? I think not. I pretty much have them all at this point in time. Let me see. Okay, so let's go ahead then with the final placements of newly purchased units. We're going to take the naval transport, destroyer, and submarine, place it in Season 6. The 2 newly purchased fighters will be placed in Japan itself. I'd like to say, guys, let me know what your thoughts are regarding the strategies and tactics that I used in this particular turn for Japan. Let me know. I'm always looking forward to your commentaries. And guys, don't forget to, as always, bunker down and play.